Okay, as he gets ready to come in, we talked about the Festival of Bad Swing Week.
Yes.
And I don't think you've seen any of that in the PGA, but if you want to see how not to swing, and yet it's one of those weird guys where the ball seemingly goes in the right place, I hate these guys. I don't like this at all. But it does happen. Take a look at this. Zecchino on the other side.
That's the drive you want, folks, right there.
That's good. That should be nice.
Oh, it's in the cup. Another one.
Great shot, Bruce. You don't know how good that is, Bruce. Perfect, Bruce. Absolutely nice.
One more. Watch him run back. Oh, good cut there.
Yeah, now he goes, how could that thing go anywhere? Seriously. That is one of the worst swings I've ever seen. And when you play with guys like that, and they're like, I got all of that one. Everyone hates you. Why are you in our foursome? Someone who's never heard that from Golf Talk Canada, our good friend, our Fratello, Mark Zecchino, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Zecchino.
Good morning, guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's nice. I haven't been in the studio yet.
I know. Do you like this? Isn't this
I like
nice?
it. It's cozy.
It's awesome,
It's
eh?
awesome.
It is.
Yeah.
Camp out.
Just saw you making out with the bartender. That was
Well,
awesome.
The golf guys get
That's-
all the chicks. You know that, right? Everybody,
Yeah.
forget the boxers, you know, the soccer players. It's the golf guys.
And the golf girls also get a lot of chicks, too. Let's
So they say.
let's not
So they
forget that one.
say.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Of course not. Not in this day.
So
Russell,
Bill-
terrible those things you're saying over there.
So Bills cover, Falcons cover, Flair documentary was awesome. What else you guys want?
Okay, yeah.
Let's start off with the Flair documentary.
The Flair documentary.
I got Mike onto this. We had the
Yeah.
director in
Yes.
with us talking about it. It may have been the best 30 for 30 I've seen.
Fantastic.
Well, and that's saying a lot too. You guys love those, right? Like I love the 30.
Yes.
I'll watch a 30 for 30 on everything. We were just talking about this out there, and I was saying, like, you know, I'm not the biggest basketball guy in the world. I love the Fab Five 30 for
Sure.
30, the Bird Magic 30 for 30. Like they'll do anything, I'll watch it. 'Cause
Everybody
it's so
hates
good,
Kristen
right?
Leitner. That was the same director. He
That's-
also did that.
You did it?
Yeah.
So,
Amazing.
I love the Flair one though, and you know what? I keep forcing people to watch this too. That in The Room. Have you guys seen The Room?
What's The Room? What's that?
The Room.
Yeah, tell me
Okay,
about this.
so
It's not a Kevin Spacey thing,
you're
is
gonna
it?
love this. No.
gonna say.
So James Franco has a movie out called The Disaster Film.
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay, so it's based on the worst movie ever made in the history of mankind called The Room. A guy named Tommy Wiseau who finds $6 million in financing. Does it? You have to watch it
Because it's so shit.
It is so bad.
Yeah.
It becomes epic. And now Franco's made a movie about this. So I'm forcing people to watch that, and I'm making people watch Ric Flair for the opposite reason. The Flair 30 for 30 is so good. I said,
Yeah.
if you've never seen a wrestling match in your life, it doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter. And I'll tell you what, you guys know wrestling. I don't know wrestling like that. I certainly didn't grow up with it, but as a casual observer, I see certain things. And so I was always curious to see who people would think is the greatest wrestler of all time. And Dave would say, it's Ric Flair. I go, Ric Flair's the best? And then I watch and I go, guess what?
It's Ric.
It's Ric Flair.
Come on, Dave.
It's Ric Flair.
Who's the Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, it's see that's
Come
tough.
on, come on.
See, I'd go Mount Rushmore. We're talking 4.
Yeah.
Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin. See, my heart says Mr. Perfect.
Okay, no. Come on. Yes.
Controversy.
But
I'm just
It's
saying.
controversy.
you
wanna-
want the Rock up there, don't you?
I
Box office?
Longevity,
We putting
though?
butts in the seats, or are we talking
Lo-
in-ring ability?
longevity in
I
the
think
wrestling ring because
also-
Hulk Hogan's in there too, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Well,
because
who's-
there's box office has got to be different though than
Performing.
performance.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you have to put Hulk Hogan in there just because he was a generational guy. But then that fourth guy, I can't put Mr. Perfect on there because of a backlash from a wrestling audience that would go, no, what about this? What about this?
What about Undertaker? What about the Undertaker?
See, I put him there.
He'd be very close, if not in the 4.
Yeah, I keep trying to do that.
Yeah, I know.
That hurts. Watch your face will permanently stay like that.
It's hard. It's hard to do that thing. How big is he, by the way?
He's
Is
7
he
foot
like
tall.
It's
Yeah.
got to be close to 7 feet. You know, everybody's close to 7 feet to me, though, Mike.
Former tight end of the Miami Dolphins.
Is he really?
Mark
I didn't know
Callaway.
that.
Yeah.
Really?
Hacksaw came into the studio. Now, obviously,
Not on the
Yeah,
Mount Rushmore.
yeah.
No.
Is he as much as a rocket scientist as he comes across? Or
well, I got to tell you what. But he also was a guy as a kid. I think is he a Pennsylvania guy? Because a lot of them are. Also, offensive line, or they usually have a knee issue. Something happens. I mean, same with the Rock. Rock wanted to play football.
wasn't he a CFL?
Yeah, he tried
player
out.
at one
He tried
point?
out for
CFL cut.
Stan
CFL
Peters.
cut.
Stan Peters,
Yeah.
but didn't make
That
the team.
Yeah. Practice roster stampede.
It was his knee. He had a knee that didn't allow him. That's like a lot of these guys, and they find themselves in WWE, but they're all Americans. I mean, these guys are great athletes.
Yeah.
And so someone say, well, yeah, but what if it's, what do you think, Mike? Because you're not, in the wrestling scene. Is it too choreographed? You know what it's going to be. There are storylines. They go, if you see what these guys do. So you're watching kind of it's theatrical a little bit, but the athletic ability and how this thing works out is very, very engaging. And on top of that, when we talk to all these people, Dave, are they not some of our best interviews? Like, they're the most engaging.
By far.
They're
By
the most
far.
polite. They're the most
Out of
professional.
the only sport that compares with it is a CFL player, but the CFL player isn't at the level of a WWE superstar. Right. And the reason I say that is a CFL player will ask you basically, where do you want to meet? Where do you want to go? They'll come down in studio. They'll probably bring you something, and they talk better than most.
Yeah, pretty articulate.
They want to sell
They're
the
down to
product.
earth guys.
Yeah.
They have Canadian fame,
Yes,
possibly
yes.
in certain Canadian markets, but we're talking about global fame with these other.
And by far the worst. Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball,
far
not
the
good.
Worst.
Not
No
good.
experience.
Yeah.
I can't talk. I got to tell you, some of the PGA Tour players are pretty special as well. So
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
Okay. And now that we've got Mark, by the way, it's Golf Talk Canada. You have some? Why were you wearing such that suit you had on was mint?
Oh yeah,
that was
we
mint,
did a
my friend.
Thank you. We did a Christmas special, and I'm trying to raise some money, or we're helping out Golf Ontario to raise money for the Golf in Schools program in the spring. So that's the London Bespoke Club. It's a men's custom suit place, actually just down the street from here. And they said,
give the address because that's
just go LondonBespokeClub.com. Great people, custom. They make me look good. That's how good these people are.
No, you look sharp.
So
No,
thank
you look great.
You look like you should have been talking like this. What are you saying?
with the little
You're
with the
not-
cigarette,
Hey,
pinching the cigarette
in the ring. You're not going to pay. You don't want to. Are you telling me you don't want to pay?
So they are auctioning off custom clothing for junior golf. So I said, yeah, give me, let me put me in something and we'll push it. So that was that. That's how that worked out.
Now, of those that you like to talk to, because we see great pictures on Facebook, we see it on Twitter. Seemingly, you're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you're Kramer. I don't know where the money comes from, but you're Hawaii, you're in the south of France. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's like, hey, we'll see you in Ireland. What are you talking about? Then Robert Arms is like, yeah, I can't. Let's go over to the old club. The old club? What did you rob someone?
Yeah, the radio business. Hey, radio golf apparently pays huge money.
Wow,
right?
I gotta tell you,
those 30 minutes of TV a week, really.
I love seeing it, and so I see you, from time to time, and it'll be like a really huge name. Now, Dave talks very kindly of the time that he spent with, and I guess it was a U.S. Open. It was Rory.
It was the PGA Championship in Rochester.
Rory's awesome. Yeah, I was down there the same day you were as well.
right.
Yeah, no, Rory's awesome.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, this drives me nuts because everybody wants today's athlete to be more transparent, and everybody gets ripped when a guy comes out and does the scripted thing, which was kind of Tiger for the majority of his career, right?
Yes.
So Rory's the complete opposite. He's as authentic as it gets. He off the cuff. He tells you what he thinks. He's emotional. But because of that, once in a while, he says something like, well, it's not my job to grow the game of golf. It's my job to, go win majors, right? And then he gets ripped. I'm like, so, you don't
get it both ways,
You
folks.
can't, thank you.
Yeah.
You don't get your cake and eat it too. And that's why I love Rory. And, he's straightforward. He gives you the great guy. Jason Day, incredible guy as well.
He really seems very likable. Even by the public, there's just this image of the all-around good guy.
Lost his dad at a young age, did not come from money, single mom, has grounded in the real world instead of, a lot of these guys. Don't get me wrong, the majority of the guys out there are good guys, but a lot of them come from a country club background,
Sure they do.
country club mentality.
Which is why I think Jordan Spieth gets this dislike. Like, do you just dislike him? No, you don't.
I don't mind.
But
him.
I know
The
some
only-
guy go,
The only thing I don't like
hate
about him. The only thing I don't like about him, and Mark, you could probably vouch for this. The sneer he has on his face. Like sometimes you want to go up to a person and slap them.
Like the Davis Love the third.
Yes,
look?
yes,
I knew
thank
that's
you.
where you're going.
That's exactly
See,
it.
he's just got the worst. Even the name, Davis Love the Third.
He just says "lovey" a lot.
The name kills him right there. Never
Yeah.
mind the face. But
Right.
then you look at the face and it's like.
Well, the thing with Jordan too is I think why some people get at him a bit or bothered by him a bit is the twitchiness and sometimes the slow play. And you saw that at the British Open. Remember
He's no
this
Kevin
year?
Na though, right?
Oh God, no! But poor Kevin, who's such a nice guy off the golf course too. But 25 minutes. They're running that the other night on the Golf Channel again. 25 minutes to deal with that rule situation on the 13th hole at the British Open this year. While Matt Kuchar's basically having a picnic in the fairway, waiting for this to go down. Right?
Yeah.
So if you're not a Spieth fan, you point to that and you go, and it drives you nuts. And if you are a Spieth fan, you point to the birdie, eagle, birdie, birdie next 4 holes after that and go, that's why he's great.
Yeah.
So
All the news of Tiger and seemingly a couple of weeks ago, it was all of a sudden taking over the internet again. And I get why. But I'm just not seeing it, Mark. I mean, and then this isn't anti-Tiger. This is just reality. Of people getting older and where their game's at. I don't expect him to return to any kind of prominence.
I have been like very, I'm going to say like very guarded in my opinions because I'm with you. So this is a 42-year-old guy, 4 surgeries on the back, 4 surgeries on the knee. It's been years since he's been relevant. Okay. Although I will say I'm more optimistic coming into this year that he can at least belong. I'm not going to say he's going to compete and win. Like some guys are going off their mind. Now they're calling him the favorite at Augusta. Some guys. I think that's
Ridiculous.
absolutely insane,
Ridiculous.
right? I'm optimistic that he'll be able to be a regular, normal-looking guy on the PGA Tour that looks like he belongs. Not like the guy we've seen the last 3-4 years. Although it was 4 days in the Bahamas against 17 guys on a golf course he knows. So let's put this in perspective.
And that's what that is. That's perspective.
We'll know a lot more, though. I think he'll play 4 times before we get to Augusta. I think he'll play Torrey Pines. He'll play Riviera because his foundation is attached to that event in L.A. He'll play Honda because it's a home game.
And some sort of Buick event, right?
Well, they're not there anymore, so he'll probably play Arnold Palmer.
Okay.
So they'll be the 4, right?
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this: 2018 season. I know it's a wrap around,
Yes,
but just
I'm
like
exhausted already.
Yeah, honestly, I hate the wrap around.
I leave for Hawaii January 1. It starts already.
Oh,
why are we surprised? Why are we surprised?
Those dicks.
You know what? There's a word for him right now. It's called Malacca. In the 2018 calendar,
sir.
does Tiger Woods win anything? And I'm not talking majors. I'm talking anything.
I will say no.
I will agree.
I know Bob, Mr. Weeks, my co-host, would say probably yes. I think Bob, and I don't want to speak on his behalf, but doing the show with Bob and hearing his opinion about Tiger, I think that Bob might think, more that he'd be more surprised if Tiger didn't win. I'd be more shocked if he did win.
Really? That's what Bob thinks?
Yeah, he thinks he's good. He thinks he's.
But he
gonna
doesn't.
do it.
But he doesn't show up for
Hey,
the garbage tournament.
Bob.
Yeah.
I will ask you guys
he
this.
He doesn't show up for the garbage
Right,
tournaments.
he's
He's not going to show up for the tournament where
You're going to go to
the
Puerto
only
Rico.
headline. Thank you.
Opposite field event. To get it done.
Thank
right?
you.
I'll ask you guys this question: if he wins a big event, let's say he wins the Masters, a major, where in the sports spectrum is that in terms of career comebacks? It's got to be top 5 comebacks of all
Easily
time.
top 5
Yeah.
because I would have zero expectations that could even happen.
There you go. So if he gets it done, I think it's one of the best sports stories we'll ever see. I don't think it's going to happen.
It's almost equivalent to a no-name winning a big one too. Like I put it almost in the same category. Like something. Well, see, sometimes it's difficult this time of year, especially for a casual golf fan. The Indonesian Masters. So Justin Rose wins that apparently pretty easily. So I'm like, well, where would Dave and I come in the Indonesian Masters? I mean, are some of the entrants like dogs and stuff?
I got one in the final group on Sunday. I figured.
We don't know anything really about that part of the world and what that. I mean, how hard is that? Or
Well,
is it?
They're playing against watered down fields, but they're getting big. The 3 or 4 guys that you would recognize in the entire tournament are getting huge money to show up and play. So
Right,
it's a win
right.
before they even get there.
But he's he's still someone that we look at as a significant top 10 tournament guy, are we not?
Right, and you still have to go out and shoot those scores. So the golf course doesn't know that you're playing against a bunch of guys that you should probably squash. So there's still some weight in it, but you're right. And, personally, I wish there was more time off. I wish the golf would go away for a bit more.
2 months.
Yeah, I think every other sport gives their fan base an opportunity to miss it.
Exactly.
Golf, right?
Yeah,
But,
like you've got to have and make sure you avoid burnout.
Right.
Because after a while, people are like, oh, what is this one this week?
I believe the PGA Tour is going to address this with the new schedule that comes out at the end of this season, and they're going to condense it. They're going to move the FedEx Cup playoffs away from the NFL season starting in 2019, so it'll all be over before week 1 of the NFL. So,
wow, that's early.
So I think Jay Monahan's, like the new commissioner, is doing an incredible job. The question I have is, what happens when the PGA Tour decides, okay, we are going to take that break, we are going to end it before NFL, we are going to step away. What do the other tours do? Because look at what they're doing now. And the Golf Channel needs content, and all these people are starving for content. So they'll just start handing out money again, and golf will still be on the air. The question is anybody watching it or caring about it?
You know what?
This is good news for you, though, you and Bob.
We got work
You,
anyway.
you extend the show. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
there's juggling.
Yes, there's
there's
animal acts.
There's some mimes going on. Here, we're going to mime
I'm
now.
sitting on Bob's knees, got his head in my back. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Jean Veldeveld. I'm Jean Veldeveld. Do you think I'll win the tournament? Well, of course you will. You're a tremendous player.
Lovey.
It is interesting that we always talk about the young players, So if it is Spieth, if it is the post Tiger era, but guess what? They're no longer can be considered the young phenoms. Like they still chronologically are young, but they're now an expectation of being veteran tour players that they need to come in a certain place. Is there an even younger group coming up that we can look at? Because I still see Spieth in that group or a Ricky Fowler, and I still see them as these young new kids, but they're not anymore.
Well,
they're
no.
not.
They've been out there a few years, and they've got multiple majors under their belt. Some of them, especially Jordan. It makes me like, you're probably right, Mike. There's the next one coming, the next Tiger. We probably don't know who it is yet.
Right.
Somebody's watching them somewhere, and he's 16. Or he's 15 or something along those lines. I find it, it's amazing how the golf just started skewing younger. Remember, you used to have to wait till you're like 31, 32 to say, okay, now I'm ready to win. And I throw that out the window. 22, these guys are winning. Look at Ricky Fowler. He's 27 years old. He's got all the heat in the world on him this year, right?
But he always does. Like I look at it, and it's almost, I'm irritated if I turn on, like, let's say on a Saturday. So it's a Saturday, and he's either within 2 or up a couple 2. I'm like, let's see something.
Right.
Don't choke. Don't do this. Don't do that.
He's the new Sergio Garcia.
He
You know
is.
what? That's
He is.
that is bang on.
That
He is. And
He is.
I agree with you 1,000%. And the longer he carries that, the harder it is to get over the hump.
So is that a common, what Dave just said, is that a common perception?
I think if you were to ask 10 golf guys right now who the best player in the world is right now without a major, I think 8 to 9 out of those 10 are going to say Ricky Fowler. You might get another odd name here or there thrown in there, but Ricky Fowler is going to be the name more often than not.
Okay, so he has that stigma. Is there still a stigma around Dustin Johnson in terms of having finish? Because he has lifted some hardware over his head. But in terms of really what his capability is from time to time, do you still trust him? Do you trust him on a Sunday? Do you trust him on the greens? Has that part of his game changed that much?
I don't know. He has lost a couple of big leads in the last year. He's won a bunch too,
Yep.
but he's lost some big leads that were shocking coming down the stretch. So I don't know if he's an automatic closer. I don't know if he'll ever be an automatic closer.
Because that's what I think. It's like some football teams you think, okay, they're going to do well, or certain coaches, you have a great regular season. He kind of fits in that golf persona to me, as in, I don't want my money necessarily on Dustin Johnson on a Sunday, whether he's winning or closing the gap,
Mike's
especially if
trying
he's
to
winning.
say Dustin Johnson is the Washington Capitals of the regular
Well, he could
season.
be, right? But he did. He grabbed.
But
the
he
US,
does win, though, from time to time.
He does, and he did grab the U.S. Open a couple of years ago. But now he's at a level. He's number 1 player in the world. He's winning a bunch of money, a bunch of titles all the time. He won 3 or 4 times last year. I can't remember off the top of my head. It was either 3 or 4, but no major. So is he now? I got to think he's at the level now where majors are the things that count, right? If he goes another year where he has three victories and no major,
And no majors.
I don't think that's a success anymore. And
I
I know
agree.
those are.
I agree.
those are-
No.
it's hard criteria,
Yeah.
right, Mike? It's
But
a
that's
hard
the world.
measuring stick.
That's the world. That's the measuring stick.
But he's number 1 beside your name. That means something.
Yeah.
So, and I think he knows. I just talked to him last week. I was in California, and
He seems like a good sort of
He's a-
aw shucks kind of guy.
he is
a
a
little
down to
bit, yeah.
earth kind of.
He's a Carolina boy, right?
I asked him, does it? I introduced him, here with world number one, Dustin Johnson. I said to him, what does that mean? We're starting in January. We're going to Hawaii. You come in as the world number one after a year where you probably thought you were going to win a major and you didn't. What does it mean to be world number one? And you approach the year differently. And you could say he was very open. Yeah, he goes, it means something. You've got to meet that expectation. If you're going to be number one in the world, you got to act like it. Your record's got to show it. So I think he knows it. I don't think he's the type of guy for that kind of thing to set on him, though. I think he plays his game, and sometimes it falls on the good side of the fence, and sometimes falls. I don't think he's like a big, grinder mentally out there.
Okay,
I think we know what you're trying to say.
let's do some NFL picks. Zecchino's in
All
on
right.
this. Here's your list.
Okay, well,
of,
hold on.
This
Let me find
this
while we
week's
do this.
NFL
This
on
is
sportsinteraction.com.
Okay.
Those are your numbers right there. Mike's going to set this up. I'm ready to go whenever you want. I know you're ready. Happy Endings is almost ready for his hockey.
Well, what we're going to
pick,
do, so we'll do some picks with Mark Zecchino.
Okay.
Then what I'll do so he can actually exit. I'll play another a bad swing collection.
Beautiful.
As we're celebrating that this week, and then after that, Victor can come on, and then away we go.
Oh, okay,
I
very
think we'll
good.
do it because we do have another bad golf swings. Correct, right?
Okay.
I can't get enough of it. I'm sorry. I know people are like it's mean. No, it's not. It's funny.
So we need 4 games from you that you trust. The top 2 are the Saturdays. The bottom 2 are the Mondays. Everything.
I know you want as a spread, right? Against the points.
That's right.
All
It's
right.
all
So
about the spread.
Buffalo will cover.
Buffalo
okay, just
covers.
wait.
Wow.
I have to give you.
Okay.
I have
All
to
right.
give you the. And now it's time for National Football League picks with Mark Zecchino.
All right. From the frozen tundra of Toronto.
Yes.
Buffalo covers.
Wow.
Atlanta covers.
Two
That's
dogs.
okay,
Eh?
2 dogs covering right out of the gates.
Very exciting.
My 49ers, unfortunately, the streak
Hey,
ends.
you on board with Jimmy G?
The streak.
I'll
Jimmy G.
I love Jimmy G. I'm
Oh,
looking
it's a love
forward,
fest for Jimmy G.
but I think the streak comes to an end.
No, you're
this
wrong.
week.
Turn that mic
Now,
off.
is this 5.5 or 4.5 here?
It was 5.5. The numbers dropped to 4.5.
Okay, at 4.5, I think I might.
You're taking the points.
No, take Jacksonville on
No.
that. They're going to cover their one. So I'll take Jacksonville on that
Jimmy
one.
G's never lost in the history of the world.
He's the greatest quarterback of all time,
Thank
according to
you.
Dave.
And
Yes.
the Rams destroy the
Yes.
Titans. Those are my
Yes.
4 games.
I like that, boy. I'll tell. There you go.
Okay.
There's some picks you don't hear every day.
No.
I would say
Zecchino is
Zecchino.
Zecchino knows his
Yeah.
NFL.
Well, buon Natale, fratello. Buon Natale.
Thank you, sir.
And
I knew you'd like that. We're not going to give a woo at any point.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
thought we were going to give
no,
a woo.
I thought you were going to give a woo.
Yeah.
Woo!
There you go. That is fantastic. Also,
You were listening to the show
I-
earlier.
Of course
Okay.
I was listening.
and also to Angry Mike, your dad, who's awesome.
Yeah, say
And
hi to
Mike, he asked
Yes.
me to say hi to both of you guys.
Yes,
Awesome.
he is amazing.
Not Russell, though,
Thank
right?
you.
Great to
Not
see you,
Russell.
Fratello.
Russell.
Good.
No,
That's the
Russell,
way to do
Russell
it.
gets nothing. Okay, so we will have Victor Newman's passionate picks. We've got the forward play, the sexy gold picks, and happy endings, as you would think on a show like this, on the Christmas show. But first, the celebration of Bad Swing Week during Christmas continues.
Just giving him something to look at up there. What is that? Don't kill it. I don't need anyone to tell me what the fuck I'm doing wrong.
You're not hitting that ball. Oh, that is outstanding.
What? We just become best friends? Yep.